Right. I think that's a good view there. What's up, guys? We are on NPTE Night School Season 2, Episode 7. Tonight we are going over the TBI Ranchos Los Amigos levels of cognitive functioning. We are going to go over the Asia impairment scale, and we are going to go over referral patterns of different organs. And so my first 5 are going to be all about the Ranchos Los Amigos levels of cognitive functioning. The second 5 questions are going to be the Asia impairment scale, and then the final 5 questions are going to be referral pain patterns of organ systems. And so we're going to start here in just a few minutes. We're going to see if we get a little bit of a turnout, and then we'll jump right into our questions. I believe our PTA colleagues have already taken or are taking this week their boards exams. And then my PT students, we have one more week until PT NPTE, I believe. And so this is the second to last NPTE night school before the April boards, I believe. Let me double check that just to make sure. But I think that's right. Let's double check and see. Hope you had a pleasant Easter. I did, Rhea. Thank you. I hope you did too, girl. Let's see. 28th and 29th for PTs and PTAs have already taken their boards this month. So we will just go ahead and jump in. We will get started. Tonight we're going to go over the Ranchos Los Amigos levels of cognitive functioning. We are going to those are the first 5. The second 5 we're going to go over the Asia impairment scale, both deciding neurologic level as well as grading A, B, C, D, or E. And then the last 5 are going to be over pain referral patterns. Rhea, Jose, you guys are a couple of longtime watchers for me, so I just want to give you guys some shout outs. Thank you guys for always being present. Oops, that's not what I wanted. So we'll just go ahead and jump right in. So, a patient with TBI is highly distractible, requires frequent redirection, and demonstrates goal-directed behavior only with external structure. He only becomes agitated when overstimulated. What Rancho level is most consistent? A, level 4, B, level 5, C, level 6, or D, level 7? You guys go ahead and take some time to think about it and answer. And then we will go over it here in just a bit. I always am a big proponent of being active engagers with the material. And so if you submit an answer, even if it's wrong, when we go over it, having actively engaged with the content is going to make it stick better. And so I'm always encourage you guys, submit your answer choices in the chat, and then we will go over it here in probably a minute or so. While we're waiting for people to submit choices, is there anything in particular that you guys feel like you still need covered? Because we just have maybe, let's see, today's the 12th, right? So the 19th, and then the 26th, is that right? Or maybe 2 weeks. Maybe we have 2 weeks left until your guys' boards. But we're kind of coming to the end of the checklist or the list that I had for you guys that we were going to go over. And so, yeah. So we'll have 2 weeks left. If you guys just want to go over the big 3 content areas, that's totally fine. And I'll just come up with 5 of each. I'm debating between 2 right now. Milestones specifically. We can go over some milestones for sure. Well, Rhea, I tried to make these a little bit harder this week. I had a comment on one of my videos from a while back that was just saying that my board questions weren't hard enough. So I tried to get it a little bit trickier so that way you could narrow it down to 2 and then you had to make a decision. No, J-Bank, I have not gone over the answers yet. We are just starting. So let me go ahead and reread the question. A patient with TBI is highly distractible, requires frequent redirection, and demonstrates goal-directed behavior only with external structure. He only becomes agitated when overstimulated. What Rancho level is most consistent? A, level 4, B, level 5, C, level 6, or D, level 7. I'll give you guys about 30 more seconds, and then we will go over the answer. But please, I encourage you, submit your answer choices, just because whether you're right or you're wrong, it'll stick better in your brain because you actively engaged in it. Okay, so I need to make a note. One person said milestones. I could make some questions about milestones for sure. Okay, I'm getting some. Okay, let's go ahead and go over it, guys. So the answer is B. The reason being is that if you have goal-directed behavior with cues, then you're dealing with a level 5. Okay, I know it says that they become agitated, but the distinction between level 4 and level 5 is that level 4s will be agitated at baseline, right? And so, and they won't show goal-directed behavior. They may follow simple cues, like single-step cues, but it won't be necessarily goal-directed behavior. And I've even got the Ranchos Amigos pulled up, so let's look at level 4. So they'll have purposeful attempts to remove restraints or tubes, right? May perform motor activities, but without any apparent purpose, right? So that's the big thing, is that if it's goal-directed behavior, it's more purposeful behavior. Obviously, C, if you have a level 6 patient, they're going to show consistent appropriate responses, and level 7, they're going to demonstrate independence in familiar tasks with minimal confusion. So the best answer choice here is B, because they're still highly distractible, they require that frequent redirection, but they're not agitated at baseline. They only become agitated when they're overstimulated, right? So if you guys have any questions about these as we go along, please stop me. I do check the chat. Let me make sure that no one... Let's see. Nikki Jones, thanks for the follow. VSync and Gentry, thank you guys for joining. You guys are both a little bit longer time watchers. Zelda, you too. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, we're going to go ahead and jump into the next Ranchos Los Amigos question. We got 4 more Ranchos questions that we're going to go over, and then we'll jump into the Asia impairment scale. Okay? Number 2, a patient is alert and appropriate, demonstrates carryover of new learning, and requires minimal supervision for safety awareness and judgment. What Rancho level is this patient likely at? A, level 6, B, level 5, oh my gosh, C, level 8, I just realized I didn't put a different answer question there, or D, level 7. Oops. Take your time with this. I intentionally tried to make these a little bit more challenging so that way you had to try to narrow it down between 2, right? Most of the time on your boards, and you guys maybe have already realized this on your practice tests, but when you're taking your boards, you likely will be able to immediately knock out 2 answer choices where you're going to look at them and you're like, there's no way those are the answer choices, those are terrible answer choices. And then you're going to do, you're going to come down to 2 most likely, and then you have to pick out which one is a better answer. So I'm going to read it one more time, and then go ahead, as I'm talking, you guys go ahead and submit your answer choices. A patient is alert and oriented, demonstrates carryover of new learning, and requires minimal supervision for safety awareness and judgment. What Rancho level is this patient likely at? A, level 6, B, level 5, C, level 8, or D, level 7. I think I've got 2 answer choices, three so far. 4, 5, 6. Give you guys a little bit longer just to narrow it down. I'll give you guys about 30 more seconds and then we'll go over the answer. Okay, let's go ahead and answer this question. Okay, so you guys are right, the ones that said D, so you've got the automatic behavior, right? So they're alert and appropriate, they demonstrate carryover of new learning, but they require supervision for safety, awareness, and judgment, right? So this is a big, having poor judgment is a big level 7 thing, right? So you're gonna have poor judgment at lower levels as well, but there's gonna be more distinguishing factors. So like level 6, for instance, you'll still require external cueing for sequencing, right? So like they won't demonstrate necessarily the carryover of new learning. They'll demonstrate the carryover of familiar learning. So things that are familiar, like brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, stuff like that. But the new learning, like maybe sorting tasks or more complex tasks, in level 6, they would still require the external cueing for that sequencing, right? Your level 5 patients are still going to be highly confused and they're going to require constant redirection. And then level 8, they're only going to need standby assist and they can also acknowledge their impairments, right? So they have less poor judgment because level 8s actually acknowledge their impairments and they'll need that standby assist only, right? So this is classic level 7. Any questions about any of these, put them in the chat. We'll talk about them a little more if we need to. I only have 15 questions again tonight, so we do have time, right? We have time to go over stuff if you guys have extra questions about it. Okay, number 3, a patient is confused and agitated, attempts to remove lines, and has poor attention and no short-term memory. What is the most appropriate intervention approach? A, provide a quiet, structured environment. B, introduce complex dual task training. C, initiate tasks with 2-step commands. Or D, encourage independent problem solving. Nice, getting a lot more answers on this one. This one probably feels a little bit easier. And guys, if you recently joined us, I was just gonna say, we have 2 more weeks until the April boards. Typically what I do is I'll do the 2 more weeks. I really would like some feedback on things that you guys would like to cover because we've kind of come to the end of the list that I had created at the beginning of this round of NPTE Night School. And so one individual asked for milestones in particular. So I'll make some questions for next week about milestones, but if you guys have particular content areas as we're getting down to the last 2 weeks of studying, let me know and I'd be happy to do questions about those things specifically. And it doesn't have to be specific or like vague, like let's do neuro. If you want to hit something very specific where it's like, I want to do ADA measurements or something like that. Do you have study guides? I don't have study guides. So right now, I'm just a sole proprietor creating this stuff, post-op interventions, especially between 1st and 2nd stage rehab. Okay. Yeah, I can try to do that. The person that asked about study guides, I don't. I'm kicking around the idea of starting an LLC so that way I can actually create content that I can then sell and distribute. I've got a buddy that I'm going to be talking to about that this week. I think that I could probably do that without substantial cost to you guys. And so, I don't know, I'm kicking the idea around. I'm not 100% sure. Vonnie, it's good to have you back, dude.
Sorry that I took last week off. I suck about interventions in general. Okay. Gentry, is there something... Yeah, I've got 2 dogs. I'm sorry, Christina. I've got 2 dogs that whose nails haven't been sanded down or dremelled down in a little while. Gentry, is there something in particular, like content-wise, like MSK or neuro, cardiopulm, or like all of the above? Anyways, fine. Let's go ahead and go over this answer choice. You guys knocked this one out of the park. It's important in these individuals that we reduce stimulation. So if you guys, I'm sure many of you knew, we're doing more advanced neuro probably. Okay, I'm sure you guys probably picked up on this. They're really agitated, they're attempting to remove lines, so you should have gotten that this is a level 4, Ranchos level 4, right? And so it's important that we reduce stimulation because they're gonna be agitated at baseline, right? You're gonna walk in the door and these people are gonna be upset already. So, more advanced neuro, milestones, I can definitely do that. Okay, let's move on to number 4. Throw out questions as you need me to explain more, or if you have other content areas you want to cover in the next couple of weeks, I'm more than happy to do that. Number 4, a patient follows simple commands consistently, demonstrates carryover for relearned tasks, but still requires moderate cueing for redirection and sequencing. What Rancho level? A, level 5, B, level 6, C, level 7, or D, level 8? Lauren, SPT, you're popping up as a longtime watcher. Thank you for your support in watching these videos. I'm sorry to all of you guys here that I'm not doing a good job of creating regular stuff throughout the week. I really enjoy the lives more than anything, but I do realize that in order to provide probably adequate content for you guys throughout the week too, and just for my own personal business purposes, if I do end up turning this sort of thing into a business, I probably do need to create more regular content. That's why I need a partner. So I'm hoping that I can get a buddy to jump in on this one. Is studying healing times of different types of tissue worthwhile? I mean, on your boards, I think it's important for you to know post-op tissue healing. And like, that's gonna be super important because obviously you don't wanna initiate like certain kinds of interventions too early post-op. And then just like your general stuff, like you're not going to do a lot of loaded resistance training on someone that just sprained an ankle, right? So I do think if you're talking about tissue like integ, it's important to know like how to support proper healing of those tissues and stuff like that. But I don't think necessarily that you have to go through big healing times of like I always look forward to this on Sunday. There are other creators who cover the other gaps too. What gaps? No, I'm just kidding. I know. If you guys need another creator just to follow, SPT Survival School, I think is the name of that account. She posts a lot of stuff, a lot of legit stuff throughout the week, which is great. Gaps of the week. I'm just kidding, Raya. I don't think you're dogging on me. Okay, did you all get a chance to answer this? Are you feeling good about this one? Let's see. Okay, so the answer is B. This is your classic 6, right? So they're gonna have consistent command following. They've got carryover of relearned tasks. That means the stuff that was like they knew how to do before, right? So the PT forget his name and does multiple practice questions each day. There is a dude, I have to think of his name, Scott something. Jenkins? Scott Owens? I'll have to look it up. But I think I know what you're talking about. There's a dude, he is a teacher out in West Virginia, I believe, and he posts. He's got his OCS, and he's a faculty member at a school in West Virginia. So the big thing here is just deciding probably between 6 and 7, because 5 and 6 are pretty distinguishable, right? And then, so 6 and 7 is the big distinguishing thing here that we got to figure out. So number 7, they're really only going to need minimal cues to attend, and they're going to start developing carryover for new learning, not just the relearned tasks. Right? Okay, number 5. Last Ranchos questions, and then we're going into Asia impairment scale. Which patient best demonstrates level 8? A, requires supervision for safety. B, requires cues for task completion. C, demonstrates ability to function with standby assist but has decreased stress tolerance. Or D, displays inappropriate responses with no carryover. Good. Yeah, you guys seem like you're all of one mind on this one, which is great. What was the answer to 4? Great question, Chris. So the answer to 4 was B, level 6. So the big distinction between level 6 and level 7 is that with level 6, you'll have carryover for relearned tasks. So like stuff they already knew how to relearn tasks of like brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, brushing your hair, washing your face, things like that. But then the 7s will be able to carry over new learning, right? Okay, we'll go ahead and do this one. You guys were right about this. So this is C is a good level 8. They require that standby assist, but they have no need for physical assist, but they're not yet back to their baseline in stress tolerance. And so usually they will start to get overwhelmed with big amounts of stress. That'll also be very mentally and cognitively fatiguing to them. And so these people usually are still like having to take naps to get through their day. So basically nothing new until you're not confused. Pretty much. Yep. Absolutely right. Okay, now we're gonna go into the Asia impairment scale. If you guys have any questions, let me know. So, a patient presents with the following ISNC-SCI measurements. I'm not gonna read all this to you. I just want to know if you guys can see this. And then the question is, what is the neurologic level of injury? So, your patient presents with this Asia impairment scale. What is the neurologic level of injury? And so your answer choices are A, C5, B, C6, C, C7, or D, T1. If you guys can't see this or you can't zoom in, let me know and I'll try to figure out how to zoom in and make it bigger for you guys. I actually found a dope website that lets you just plug all this junk in and then you can like download the the image, which I thought was sick. Give you guys a little bit more time. Got some contest on this one. A lot of people are saying either A or B. No one is saying C, no one is saying D. Thank goodness, because if you could see, C7 and T1 are both zeros all across the board. So if anyone was saying C or D, I'd be concerned. Okay, let's go over it. So the answer is A. And the reason is there's two big things to notice here. Number one, your sensory level, you can only get 2s, right? That's the highest thing you can score in sensory. And that goes all the way down to C6, and that's the highest score you can get. And then the very next thing you see are your zeros, right? So like obviously the sensory level can't be C7. So the sensory level is C6. Now, when you're trying to determine motor level, Jared, get out of here, dude. If you're trying to determine motor level, it is the lowest level where you have at least a 3 out of 5 with everything above being 5 out of 5, okay? So, because C6 is only a 2 out of 5 bilaterally, it's got to be at least a 3 because C5 is a 5 above. So since the C6 is not a 3, it's a 2, your motor level is C5. Now your neurologic level is determined by when the lowest level where motor and sensory are intact. And so you cannot have a neurologic level below C5 because of how low the C6 is. Okay, so the neurologic level of injury is going to be C5. Does that all make sense? If you guys are confused about that, I would definitely just go over your scoring again. If you just go right to the Asia website, you can look up examples of this, and it will allow you to just look at, there's a second sheet to these all the time, and it'll help you be able to distinguish if left sensory is C6 and right sensory is C7, would your overall sensory level just be C6? Yes, good question. I'm simply blind. That's funny. Yeah. Hold on. Addie, what's up, dude? It's good to see you, buddy. Chris, that's a really good question. So yes, it is the lowest level that you have intact sensation and motor, but bilaterally, right? And so that's a great question, Chris. So if, like, let's say your C7 sensory was 2s, but you're on the left, and your C7 on the right was 0s, then your level, your sensory level is C6, because it has to be the lowest level that you have it on tact bilaterally, right? That was a really good question. The 2 looks like a question mark to me. Sorry, I can blow these up if I need to. I think. Let's find out. I don't know if it lets me go bigger than 200%. I don't think it will. Okay, we'll just move on to the next one because we got another one here. A patient presents with the following ISNCSCI measurements. So let me blow this one up. I promise you I don't have any question marks in these. Is that better? This is going to be on my final on Tuesday. Well, good. I'm helping you study. All right, bro. So what is the neurologic level of injury? A, L2, B, T12, C, T10, or D, L1? Is this big enough for everyone to see? Just put my eye drops in. That's funny. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some extra time. Take your time with this. If these are challenging for you, there's going to be plenty of questions on your guys' boards that you just like click and go, click and go, click and go, because they're cake, right? You guys are preparing yourselves. You guys know your stuff. So with these questions, especially if they give you a video or a visual, like don't breeze through those if you need to take time to think about it. Because you're going to have, I would expect that most of you, if not all of you, are going to have more time than you need, okay? Many of you are answering. Let's see. Everyone's on the same page, it seems like. Okay. Thank you guys for responding. You know my belief about interacting with the material. If you don't, it won't stick as good. That's passive learning. If you actively engage in it, it's going to stick with you better. So the answer is C. You guys crushed it. Okay? So, something to be aware of, and you guys all know this, is that below the level of T1, we don't test motor, right? Because the levels are all in the abdomen, and we're not testing grade, like muscle grades, below T1, okay? So, your sensory level is going to define your neurologic level in the thoracic spine, right? So if you don't have full sensory going all the way through the thoracic spine until you get to the lower extremity myotomes, then your sensory level is going to determine your neurologic level, okay? So you guys all nailed that one. Because T10 is the lowest point where we have full intact sensation, even though we have some preserved motor function below in the lumbar spine, you can't call this an L2 neurologic level. So it's T10. However, that being said, because you have, if this is like a fresh injury, because you have intact hip flexors and you've got knee extension on this left side, you may get some back on this ride, right? But you could CAFO this person and start jumping into gait training, you know, if you could get CAFOs relatively quickly. But you can do gait training even without it, because they've got good hip flexion. Okay, number 8. A patient has no motor or sensory function below the injury level and no sacral sparing. What's the Asia classification? A, Asia A, B, Asia B, C, Asia C, or D, Asia D? Okay, many of you feel pretty confident, it looks like. So, we'll just jump right in. And if I'm going too fast to these answers because some of you are still thinking, let me know. I won't just breeze through. But you guys are right. So this one is an Asia A. There's no sacral sparing, which is the key feature of AISA. So let's go back to this example. So when we're looking at sacral sparing, in particular, what we're looking at is the voluntary anal contraction and the deep anal pressure, okay? If either of these is a yes, they're incomplete, okay? So they cannot be an Asia A if either of these boxes say yes in them, okay? They have to both be absent in order for it to be an Asia A, okay? So let's go to number 9. It's another classification question. A patient has sensation preserved below injury, including S4, S5, and no motor function preserved below injury. What's the Asia classification? I misspelled this. Oh my gosh, I just did it again. A, Asia A, B, Asia B, C, Asia C, or D, Asia D? Okay. All right. You guys are crushing this. Hannah Gregory, just want to call you out, give you a shout out because you are another one of my long-term watchers. I'm always appreciative of you guys. Every time you return, it obviously makes me feel like it's worthwhile to you to set aside this time on Sunday nights. And so I just appreciate your engagement. It makes it feel like I'm actually like being helpful rather than just being a super annoying guy on a phone. Okay, you guys crushed that one too. So the answer is B. This is a sensory incomplete individual because they have the sacral sparing, but they have no motor function below. Okay, so this is what we call sensory incomplete. Bonnie, I've got 15, so we're just a little over halfway done. Our last 5 are going to be pain referral patterns from different organs. So we've just got one more Asia impairment scale question, and then we'll go through the last 5 that are just referral patterns from different organs. Okay, I would have been on earlier, but I finished clinicals last week and my schedule's so messed up. It's okay, dude. I'm here for another couple of weeks. So I think I said this before, I will keep doing this for the next 3 weeks, and then I'll probably take a 1 or 2 week break before we jump in for the July boards session. So that'll be season 3 of NPTE Night School. Man, time keeps moving on. I think I have 11,848 days left until I can retire. I keep a running like thing on my bulletin board at work that I keep crossing off and like writing the next day. That's assuming I retire at 65. That's a real thing that can happen for me. Okay, number 10. A patient demonstrates motor function preserved below the injury, and more than half of the key muscles below the level have strength of greater than or equal to 3 out of 5. What is the Asia classification? A, Asia A, B, Asia B, C, Asia C, or D, Asia D? Okay, you guys are crushing it. Okay. Okay, you guys nailed that one. So there's a big distinction that decides whether a person is an ASIA C or an ASIA D. Okay, and the feature is this. In a D, greater than 50% of the muscles below the level of injury, key muscles below the level of injury, will test at 3 or higher. Okay, in a person who is an ASIA C, then less than 50% of the remaining muscle groups will test, or I should say greater than 50% will test lower than 3 out of 5, right? So these are the 2s and 1s and 0s. So another way to say that is greater than 50% will test below 3 out of 5 in an ASIA C, okay? You guys weren't tripped up by that, so that's great. Okay, now, organ referral patterns. A patient reports right shoulder pain, pain increases after fatty meals, and mild nausea. What is the most likely source of their pain? A, liver, B, gallbladder, C, right kidney, or D, diaphragm? I'll give you guys a little more time. Okay, doesn't look like anyone else is answering, so we'll just go for it. Okay, so B is the answer. So you got pain after fatty meals and right shoulder pain referral. That's classic gallbladder, right? There's also a sign if you give like palpation underneath the liver, good old cholecystitis. If you palpate underneath the liver, there should be some pain in that right upper quadrant. Yep, Murphy's sign. Good job, guys. Don't say anything about the opposite side yet. Okay, number 12. A patient reports mid-scapular pain between the shoulder blades, okay? Pain worsens after eating, and they've got a history of alcohol use. What is the most likely source of their pain? A, stomach, B, gallbladder, C, pancreas, or D, esophagus? Will you post the live to your YouTube channel? Yes, Aaron, I will. I've been slacking lately because my computer is old as the hills, it seems like, and it takes forever to download them, but I will get to working on that after this because I've got some reading to do. I've been reading through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere novels, and I'm in Arcanum Unbounded right now, so I will let my computer download those and then post them over to YouTube while I'm reading. Okay. You guys seem to be slowing down and answering, so let's do this. You guys are right. C, pancreatic pain, okay? They've got deep epigastric pain that's referring to the mid-scapular region, and the alcohol use can suggest pancreatitis, right? Pain worse after eating because you've got an active pancreas after you eat, right? It's got to release that insulin, and so when it's active, it's going to get aggravated. A can cause pain after eating, but it's typically going to be localized epigastric pain, right? So stomach isn't going to refer to that mid-scapula typically. B, we already went over this, it's also going to be worse after eating, but particularly with fatty meals, and mostly it's going to go to that right shoulder or right scapula. And D is going to be more burning or substernal pain, heartburn, right? Okay. Number 13, a patient presents with left shoulder pain, worse with deep breathing, and they had a recent abdominal trauma. What is the most likely cause? A, splenic injury, B, gastric ulcer, C, diaphragm irritation, or D, pancreatitis? Give you guys a little bit longer. There's still some answers rolling in. Okay, looks like answers are slowing down. So we will go the answer. Okay, so you've got Kerr's sign. Which suggests that you have a splenic rupture until proven otherwise. Splenic ruptures are often going to be associated with recent abdominal trauma. The worse with deep breathing makes sense because your spleen is high up under your ribs, right? And so as your lungs expand, it's going to aggravate or put pressure on that spleen, right? But I intentionally put this here because I wanted you to have to decide between two answer choices, and that's exactly what you guys gave me, right? But the diaphragm shouldn't refer up to the left shoulder, right? So it can refer pain to the shoulder via the phrenic nerve, but more common, it's going to be associated with subphrenic abscesses, peritoneal irritation, or post-op abdominal conditions, okay? So maybe you could get diaphragm irritation with abdominal trauma, but if you think about like how high up your diaphragm sits when it's not active, I doubt you're gonna get the trauma necessary to aggravate that diaphragm. And if you, like, they will not say that post-op. If they mean post-op trauma, they will say recent abdominal surgery. They won't just say recent abdominal trauma, right? So you could get some referral, but Kerr's sign is more likely going to be spleen. Okay, any questions about that? Did I do a terrible job explaining why the correct answer is correct? You guys can tell me, I won't get my feelings hurt. I tell my boss all the time, if you don't, I tell my coworkers all the time, like, if you're not mean to me, I'm not gonna learn, and I won't get better. I have one coworker who's like incredibly nice 100% of the time, and she had a birthday recently, and that's what I wrote in her card was that she's a great coworker. My only criticism is that she could be meaner to me. Okay, number 14. A patient reports low back pain, pain radiates to the groin, and they are experiencing urinary urgency. What is the most likely source? A, lumbar disc herniation, B, kidney stone, C, bladder infection, or D, their prostate. There's a few answers here that I think could be the right answer. Vonnie, you gotta pick one, girl. Can't circle both on your boards again. We only have one question left after this, and then I'm gonna, thanks, Vonnie. I'm gonna poll you guys for some info regarding how you want to spend the next couple of weeks of lives of NPTE night schools. So, more complex interventions for neuro, it sounds like, milestones, anything else, just be thinking about it, and then we'll talk about it at the end, okay? It seems like everything has slowed down. This was a tough one on purpose. I need to make some harder ones for you, especially as we get closer, because I have to make harder ones in order to really open up any gaps in your guys' knowledge. You guys, week to week, when I have like the run-of-the-mill questions, you guys are crushing them, and so I feel really confident that you guys are going to do well on your boards. I have to make things hard in order to really open up or like help open your guys' eyes to where the areas of growth still are. Okay, so the answer is B. Okay, this is classic presentation. So you have pain radiating from their flank, right, their low back, into their groin. And because you have movement of a kidney stone through the ureter, it's causing lower tract irritation symptoms, which is going to impact that urinary urgency, okay? So none of you said A, great. The dermatomal pattern for discogenic pain is gonna be posterior leg, so think sciatic symptoms, not the groin, right? There's no disc that is going to impinge a nerve that goes to your perineum, right? C, you're typically gonna get suprapubic pain and burning with urination. You're not gonna get low back pain with bladder infection. Yeah, not gonna lie, these questions have definitely challenged me a lot more compared to previous weeks, which is good. Yeah, I know. I need to do better. As we get closer and closer, I'm just trying to be better and better for it. But if I only had questions that were stupid hard, no one would want to hang out here. Okay, and D, prostate issues can cause perineal discomfort, but they're not going to really experience. One of the big features is going to be weak urinary stream in males. I've always been good though, not at this at all. No, you're fine, Gentry. I didn't take it like that. I'm hard on myself because if I'm not mean, no one likes to be mean anymore these days. I need my older brothers, to be in here and just like berate me the whole time, and then I'll really push to do my best, right? So this can cause prostate issues can cause perineal discomfort, but it's not going to radiate to your low back. Okay, you will still have the features of urinary urgency, but they'll probably say something about like weakness or difficulty initiating urination, right? Okay, and number 15. That's good to know for any of you people that are going or think you're going to go into pelvic health as a specialty. Last one, a patient presents with substernal chest pain. Their pain radiates to the left arm and the jaw, and it occurs with exertion and is relieved by rest. What is the most likely source? A, GERD, B, esophageal spasm, C, myocardial ischemia, or D, costochondritis? Zam, you said, thank you for doing these every Sunday. Of course. I enjoy doing this. This is fun. I don't ever expect that I wouldn't ever try to monetize these lives because I don't care about that. I do think it'd be fun to get to have a bigger impact on students preparing for their boards to do something like what Kyle Rice has done with prep materials that I actually can distribute and sell, but I need to find a niche, right? So that way, and honestly, it's probably going to be, because I'm not trying to make this my full-time gig, it's probably going to be like selling questions and sets for like $15 or something cheap. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I got to talk to my buddy Jesse and see if he wants to go in on an LLC with me. Okay. I'm glad none of you said something off the walls with this. This is a cardiac referral pattern, okay? Left arm and jaw, occurs with exertion, relieved by rest. That means that they're experiencing angina. I would love a question bank versus Dr. Rice does cheat sheets. Yeah. I thought about cheat sheets too. I need another brain so that way it's lessens the workload on me as an individual. But yeah, I would totally sell test banks. That'd be dope. Okay, you guys crushed it this week. There were some that were challenging for you. I think you guys have the Asia stuff down. I think that first question just helped stir up, like refresh your memory on, I'd like to hear your opinion. Jakey, if you want to DM me, you can let me know what your school situation is and we can talk about it. Yeah, Vonnie, thank you. I wanted them to be tough, right? You guys are doing so well. You're doing so well. I need to make it tougher. And so the next couple of weeks, especially trying to go over some more advanced neuro stuff and milestones, I will try to make that tougher. But you guys are crushing it. You guys seemed really solid with your Ranchos, Los Amigos levels. I would just say make sure you understand the biggest distinguishing factors between 4 and 5, right? Because 1, 2, and 3 are pretty simple. 4 and 5, 6 and 7, and then 8, 9, and 10. Like, know what distinguishes 8 from 9 from 10, right? I'm pretty sure by now, because we were relearning the revised Ranchos Los Amigos level. The original just had 8 stages, and now the revised version has 10. So the boards, surely by now, they are 100% testing the 10 levels. But we didn't even go into 9 and 10. So I would study the revised unless your teachers or something are telling you otherwise. But you guys crushed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. Are these weekly at the same time? Yes, Jessica, they are. I do this at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time every Sunday. I don't know how to say CRT, Call World. Just was wondering if you ever created like a case scenario and then have like 2 to 3 questions. I will. That's a good idea. I'll do that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know that my boards had that, but they may have changed that. My NCS exam definitely had that though, were case scenarios. But my boards may have. It's been like I will be out of school for 4 years in May, so they may have changed it by then. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate you. We do. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that next time then. I think they added in 2024. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for keeping me up to date. I'll make some of those for next week. And if we only have those two where we're doing milestones and complex neuro stuff, that's totally fine. I'll make 15 questions out of that. They do now the vignette type cues on the PEAT now. Okay, cool. I also know that they, I think, recently introduced videos, like video cases for you guys. I think those were only practice questions maybe in the last couple of years, but now they're actually like grading them since they have data to suggest what is a good video question versus not. Yeah, that sucks, guys. Videos like a Dix Hall Pike. Oh, dude, Dix Hall Pike's cake. You guys. All right, dude, I could talk to you all night. Thank you guys for coming. Yeah, gate deviation makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. In the meantime, I will try to do a better job at posting stuff throughout the week, even if it's just like pictures of case studies or something like I did yesterday. But thank you.